Now you can make your designs 10 times more effective simply by thinking about emotion. And this is the kind of stuff that you won't find on YouTube. This very clever marketing campaign uses emotion to sell products. And this graphic design right here also uses the art of emotion to potentially trick you, the consumer. Here's the quick, important facts that you need to be aware of. Now, if you can cause an emotional response with your graphic designs, then it will sell much more products, persuade more people, and stick in the minds of the target audience for a longer period of time. Now, I'm not going to go into the psychology and science of this, but it's there online for you to check out if you want to read about it yourself. So the important thing is that you know this and then actually use that knowledge to your advantage. But importantly, how? Well, firstly, you need to identify who your audience is and what sort of emotion you want to evoke in them so you can express the right message. Ask yourself this: what sort of emotion will best fit the message that you want to say to the audience of your client's brand or business? Here is a list of common emotional responses that are used by designers and marketing agencies. Take a long, hard look at these basic emotional responses that humans feel from time to time, and then choose one or possibly two or three that seem like they would be a great tool for you to use on your designs. For example, if you're designing something for an exclusive or rare kind of product, you might want to use FOMO, or fear of missing out, and also craving and aesthetic appreciation. And we're soon going to look at relevant examples. Considering how your target audience is going to think, but also importantly how they feel, will take your designs to the next level. People who buy into the Davidoff cologne want to feel masculine, confident, and a tiny bit mysterious, but why is that? It's pretty much because they want to gain a partner and maybe admiration from other people. But once you know what your audience feels, thinks, and what they want to attain, it's time to move on to the next step. So you have the emotions that you want to use, and you have the client's brief, as well as hopefully your research. But what else do you actually have? Well, as a designer, you should have graphic design skills. So the first thing to decide on is the color palette. What colors will work to express your chosen emotions? And so here's an example. This design has a goal of raising awareness of poverty. Firstly, the vast majority of this design is in grayscale or black and white. The lack of colour suggests a sad and somber situation, one that lacks any kind of happiness whatsoever. This obviously plays into the emotional heartstrings of the audience. Then, the only single colour used is red, and this is a very, very striking colour that can suggest danger or even urgency. This plays into how severe the situation is, and it would help the audience to feel as if they need to act fast. And as you can see, this was a smart and a well thought out choice when considering emotion. Using a relevant imagery that helps express the design message and evoke emotion is also a very good tactic to deploy. And here's another example that clearly shows how fear is used to target younger women about the dangers of smoking. In this instance, the design doesn't focus on the health side of things. They've shown how smoking can make you age faster. It's hard hitting, and it's an emotional trigger that will stay in the minds of those who smoke or who care a lot about their appearance. Also notice how an attractive model has been used on this design, and that actually plays right into the triggers of emotion. Another tool at your disposal as a graphic designer is the emotional response in shape forms. And no, I'm not going to go into every single shape and explain what that means from an emotional standpoint, because I have done that before on this channel. This design here is not a good design. I don't really like it at all due to the layout and typography choices, but they have used a triangle shape on this design. The design is trying to express strength and power, among other things, and so they've used a triangle, which would be a good choice in this instance because it's a symbol of strength, psychologically speaking. Or take a look at this design, which is for breast cancer research and awareness. The circular shape relates back to community and trust, and it's also quite a feminine symbol too. Typography choices also play heavily into emotion, and long-term watchers of this channel already know this. Have a look at this recent advertising campaign for the sport cricket. The advert in general is fast-paced, it's impacting, and it's bold. The designers wanted to make a bold statement, and they're trying to appeal to a more younger generation to try and make cricket more cool and more trendy to that demographic. The typography also plays into this by using bold, striking, and modern trendy sans serif font solutions. The font choices here create emotions of excitement and interest due to their bold and impacting nature. Here are some quick, unwritten laws when it comes to emotion and online social marketing. So when it comes to selling more products or getting more sales for a service, it's important to create brand trust and brand awareness. The best approach for this is to create content that gets people feeling positive about themselves via your brand. This helps them form a positive emotional attachment to your brand or the client's brand. Hey, and if you want more clicks on social media posts, using shocking or sad emotions does actually work according to data. When we experience negative feelings such as fear, we naturally look for comfort and reassurance. What scientists have found is that this is even true in branding. Surprisingly, people feel more loyal to a brand that was present during a scary situation than to brands that were present during a pleasant situation. It's kind of crazy, I know, but it is actually a tried and tested fact. But here's the bottom line. Pretty much any designer can go into Illustrator or Photoshop and make something cool. They can watch a tutorial on YouTube step by step on how to make something neat. But if that design is somewhat meaningless to the designer and they fail to understand the emotional side of it, then the design ends up being pointless. But those designers who want to be very, very serious about their craft have to learn this stuff in today's video. So kudos to you and congratulations on getting this far in today's video. But if you haven't had your fill of graphic design goodness, do click a video on screen. And until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.